All right, this was the weekend to end all weekends, literally, as Avengers Endgame and Game of Thrones both wrapped up huge, gigantic, years-long stories that we've all been super involved in. We're going to dig into both of those. Plus, we tackle the troubling question, is 2019 the grand finale of geek pop culture? That and a whole lot of Comic-Con news. And Derek has a special greeting for us.
Yeah. Ritsa Segiorna.
Yeah.
Welcome to Popcorn Talk, featuring movie discussion, news, and interviews. Popcorn Talk. We talk movies. And now, here's Popcorn Talk's The Con Guy Comic-Con Prep Show.
Con guys, assemble! That's kind of what it sounds like, doesn't it?
Does, yeah. It definitely sounds like epic superhero type stuff.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Welcome to the Con Guy Comic-Con Prep Show. My name is Jim. I'm the managing editor here, and we have a gigantic show for you this week because it was probably the biggest week I think any of us have ever experienced as far as entertainment. Derek, what was it that you just spoke?
That was High Valyrian, which you can learn on Duolingo, and I've learned a handful of phrases, and one of them is like greetings and welcome.
For those of you who we are spoiling it, what is Valyrian?
High Valyrian is one of the invented languages in the world of Game of Thrones.
All right.
Yeah.
We have a great group in the house tonight. We have a full house because everybody wanted to talk about Endgame and Game of Thrones. Who do we have?
Hi, my name's Derek. I am a contributing writer for theconguy.com.
Hi, I'm Katie. I am the con girl, and I am
Yep.
the cosplay consultant and just media consultant, I guess, at this point. So,
It's me, Jake. I'm a screenwriter living here in Hollywood.
Yep.
Hey, I'm Laura. I'm like the work wife of these con guys, but that's my husband, Derek. And just an all-girl fangirl, lover of all geekdom, nerddom.
Hi, I'm Emily. I am the best friend and roommate of the con girl.
And everybody here's Cheeseman on the couch, here to comfort these people and just be a friend here on the
Right.
couch.
We
Yeah.
brought a few friends this week because
we need
because
friends.
everybody we need
lost
comfort.
so many
We
Yes.
all need
yes.
We need them
all
back.
But
need
also
it.
we've got friends that like everybody's going to be able to talk about this stuff.
This is a support group week. This is
Yeah.
definitely a support group week.
Yeah.
True.
And just so you know, right up front, we are going to be talking about Avengers Endgame, as if you didn't know, this giant thing that hit the world this past weekend and kind of took over. We're going to be talking about it, and we will be talking spoilers. So if you don't want to hear any spoilers, put us on mute, but watch us anyways, because we love that.
Watch us in a couple weeks.
Because we're kind of funny. No, go watch the movie and then come back and watch us because we are having a great discussion. We're also, in the next part of the show, we will be talking about Game of Thrones, which is it's a cultural phenomenon that is just as big.
huge.
Don't you think?
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then we will end the show talking about, is this the grand finale of geek pop culture? I'm just going to cheat a little bit and say I hope not. But, we have probably three of the biggest geek properties of all time are ending their iterations this year. And then there's a lot of smaller ones that are ending this year as well. So we will talk about that. But first, we have somebody new that is going to do 3 minutes of geek news for us this week. That is Jake. Jake, welcome back to the show.
I'm so glad to be back, and I'm really glad to be back on this day of all days.
All right. So you have 3 minutes. And Jake, take it away. Wait. Everybody, wait. Before we do, let's introduce Steve in the booth. Steve, who is taking care of us.
Hey, Steve.
And we're going to say right up front, Steve has not seen Endgame, and he has not watched Game of Thrones, and we are completely ruining his experience.
Well, I think it was already
Ruining his
ruined for him.
life.
Oh, we're so sorry, Steve.
Yeah, we didn't do it.
All right.
Just kidding, guys. Game on.
All right, Steve, if you can let Jake know when you are ready for him to go.
Yes, sir. All right, Jake, take it away.
And here's the news.
Okay, good.
All right, so if you looked in your wallet this weekend or your purse and you saw all your money disappeared, that's because Avengers Endgame officially has it. They have all of it. They made $356 million domestically. That means the United States. Just for a gauge on that, that's almost $100 million more than Avengers Infinity War's first weekend. $1.2 billion worldwide. 60 million Thursday night alone. That was the midnight screening. Saturday, 109 million. Industry high. They sent it out to 4,662 screens.
Wow.
All those numbers just mean no one's ever opened a movie this big before. So
Nor will they ever again.
probably not. No, like this is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Along those same lines, you've got in the Ant-Man universe, actor David Dastmalchian. He was, you might remember him as one of the Arkham crazies from Dark Knight. Then he hopped over to Ant-Man. Now he's hopping back over to DC. He's joining the Suicide Squad, playing everyone's favorite arch nemesis from the world of DC Comics, Polka Dot Man.
Polka Dot Man.
Polka Dot Man.
Okay.
He's going to join the cast, which is bringing back Margot Robbie. She's Harley Quinn again. Captain Boomerang, Jai Courtney. Idris Elba, who we thought was Deadshot, but now he's going to be changing to someone else, evolving into an undisclosed role. My 2 bits, maybe Bronze Tiger. Who
Nice.
knows? I've been reading John Ostrander's Suicide Squad, and if it's more like that, it's going to be a really good
Oh, seriously?
movie.
Nice.
Oh, yeah, it's really good. So this is going to be a semi-sequel, maybe Sea-Boot. That's a reboot sequel. I just made that phrase up.
I like it.
I like it.
Sea-Boot.
Oh, hashtag.
Yes. Now back to Phil Lord and Chris Miller, makers of the wonderful movie Spider-Man of the Spider-Verse. They produced and wrote it. They just signed a deal to develop an entire Marvel TV universe for Sony Pictures TV. So this is probably a lot of the Spider characters we're guessing. Venom, Morbius, Black Cat, Silver. It's going to be the television side, working with all those different characters that Marvel and Sony has a license with over
Yay,
there.
Disney
So.
likes him again.
I'm so excited about that.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Our good
You're
graces.
fired. Rehired. Thank you for
Sony,
Spider-Man.
you guys, they left Fox and went to Sony. Okay, anyways. Fox just got by. But Disney, read between the lines.
Speaking and last story. Speaking of Fox, one of my favorite Fox movies from the '70s, Alien, had a very popular viral sensation when a high school drama club over in New Jersey put on their own production of Alien the play. They just had an encore presentation. Lo and behold, who was in attendance but Ellen Ripley herself? Yes, I know her first name. It's Ellen. Sigourney Weaver was there.
That's fantastic,
She came backstage. She said, and I quote. She said, I am so excited to be here. I am representing all the Alien fans all over the universe who think what you're doing is so cool. And that's what she told the backstage kids, and she stayed for the play.
Great.
That's cool.
Ding, ding, ding.
With 12 seconds to spare.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Very good.
All
job,
right.
Jake.
Which movie do you want to see as a New Jersey high school production next?
I know.
My 2 bits, Pulp Fiction.
This is true. A high school production where something comes ripping out of his
Yes,
stomach.
yes.
And I need
As
to
a
say,
musical,
though.
right?
As a musical,
That's
yeah.
amazing.
I just love that she showed up. I love that she showed up. That is one of the classiest things. Oh, man, I love Sigourney Weaver. That's so great. Derek, what's on the bulletin board this week?
Well, I'm glad you asked for that, Jim.
All right.
Lots of things coming up. The biggest comic book conventions coming up soon. In this coming weekend, May 4th and 5th, is Arctic Comic Con.
I love the name of that.
Yeah, in Anchorage, Alaska.
Nice.
Which, that's pretty cool. And of course, that's Star Wars weekend, which also, May the 4th, this coming Saturday is also Free Comic Book Day.
Yes.
So check out your local comic book store. There's probably something going on.
Will you be there?
I will be at a comic book store.
Nice.
Are you doing
Around
the
here.
cosplay?
Yeah.
Are you?
Yeah.
Where?
I'm gonna be Spider-Man.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Don't tell anybody.
Nobody knows.
Okay. And then the following weekend, May 10th and 12th, is Comic Palooza in Houston, Texas. And the week after that, we have 2. May 18th and 19th, Comic-Con Revolution in Ontario, California. And also Tidewater Comic-Con in Virginia Beach, Virginia. And then July 17th through 21st, of course, is San Diego Comic-Con. And that's the 17th is the preview night, and then the 18th through 21st is the main part of it.
So how many weeks till Comic-Con?
11.
11 weeks at Comic-Con.
Yeah.
Counting down.
We're not long at all. It'll be
Yes.
here before you know it.
Yep.
And also, this is not really a comic book convention, but there's a Stranger Things convention in,
Yes.
I don't know how to pronounce the name of
Katie
the city of
does.
New York.
Wait, no, wait,
Se-
Secaucus, sorry.
Secaucus.
Secaucus,
Yeah,
New York.
Secaucus.
Yeah, that's May 4th and 5th this coming weekend.
Fantastic. So, real quick, your which store will you be at? Do you know?
Actually, no.
Is it with
It's usually Earth to Comics.
Earth to
That
Comics?
sounds right.
Is it over in
And it's
Sherman Oaks,
usually
right?
2 stops that he does.
Okay.
Thomas, who's on the show,
Yeah.
usually kind of gets his little
He's got his group
Avengers
together, which he's,
Oh, wait,
he's
you're
allowed
going
me
with
to
Thomas?
join this time.
Oh, cool.
Yes. Are you there too, Luke?
I probably won't be this time
No,
because of another wedding.
Because of that other event.
The
Yeah.
other one.
That's right.
Yeah.
Because Ben Kliewer, who's usually on our show, is getting
Ben.
married in a
on
very
the nerdiest day of the year.
nerdiest day of the year, May the 4th, and they are giving out comic books at their wedding. So
That's perfect.
amazing.
That's amazing.
I knew that you would love that, Laura.
That's
Yeah.
great.
From one geek-loving wedding to another, right?
Yeah, it's our date. Our first date
Yeah.
was 6 years ago on May
Unless
4th.
Ben's giving out
Was it
issues
really?
of Secret War.
They
And I'm
met
like,
on May the 4th.
Oh,
Let's go. But yeah, our first date was on May the 4th, 2013. We went and saw Iron Man 3 and had dinner at Islands.
Oh my gosh,
Yep.
you guys are
That's adorable.
the perfect geek couple. And then their wedding was great because the rehearsal dinner was steampunk.
It was a
Yeah.
cosplay rehearsal.
Yes, it was
dinner.
great.
We
Yeah.
encouraged people to do steampunk cosplay for the rehearsal dinner.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of
I
fun.
still have the hat that I made for that. I'm so proud of that.
I was so touched that you actually went out of your way to make something for our wedding.
Yes. All right. So, Katie, there is a little bit, at least a little bit, somewhat frustrating, but a little bit of news for San Diego Comic-Con this
Correct.
week. If you can let us know, please.
Yeah, so today was the wait list for the hotel sale.
Which went
So
smoothly, didn't it?
It was just a very slow going thing to get into it, I guess would be the best way to say it. But basically anybody who didn't get hotels the first 2 weeks then asked to be put on the wait list, got emails, and then you get a link, and first come, first serve, you get a room or you don't get a room. The downtown hotels are limited and they go fast.
Yeah.
I accidentally had a mishap. I got in really quickly and then accidentally exited it. So then I couldn't get back in. But thankfully, Luke, Cheeseman over here,
She's been on the couch.
he was able
I
to
thought
get
of
us
you
one.
quickly. I was
Yeah.
like, well, I'm in. We got one. I'll get Katie one.
So it's a little stressful, but now I think
She's
we
been
all
in a
are good
pinch.
now. But yeah, and then that requires 2 days deposit that you can't get back if you cancel it. So that's
Right.
kind of not fun.
Ooh.
But yeah, and then another update. I think it's May 15th.
Yeah.
You
Yep.
have to update your address for your badges to get mailed to you by May 15th on the Comic-Con website. Make sure you do that because I know Derek ran into this problem I think last year or the year before where
Yeah. It was a couple
years
our
ago, yeah.
my address was also like you had to change it in 2 spots. Like there's like
Yeah, that was
mailing
annoying.
address and physical address, and make sure you change your shipping address because otherwise you will not get your badges. So you want to go online to Comic-Con and use your ID, member ID, and update that by the 15th because that way they can send them out.
Yeah, otherwise it's going to go to the other one that you've got in,
Correct.
and it's, yeah.
Yeah. And then
Whichever
last,
one is wrong is the one it'll get sent to.
Yes.
Just
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Murphy's Law.
Yeah. And then another update that we found out this week, we got an email. Anybody who's on the Comic-Con email list got a thing about Comic-Con night at Petco Park on May 16th. And it's the game versus the Pirates for baseball fans, for you nerds who also watch sports. Fans who purchased
Some of those exist.
Yeah, no.
there are a few in this room.
But it's kind of fun. This is fun. It says fans who purchase tickets have the chances to win passes to Comic-Con. And winners will be picked at random, but you can also show up in cosplay. So they're encouraging cosplay.
And there's going to be a cosplay contest.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's probably
cool.
some rules because it is at a MLB stadium, and any MLB stadiums are very strict with things like that you can bring and can't bring in. So if you are going to
Major
go,
League Baseball.
yeah. So if you are going to go, I recommend checking out more
Translation
info
for the
on
geeks.
their website because I'm sure there are some requirements and restrictions. So yeah,
I would imagine no masks probably.
probably not. Yeah.
and probably want to stay away from
Weapons and
weapons.
Props, probably no.
Yeah.
yeah.
You can't have Stormbreaker and
Yeah.
Mjolnir. You have to choose
One.
At least a Thor hammer.
But it's cool if you want
Just
an opportunity to
a
win
Thor
Comic-Con
hammer.
passes and you're available on that day. I think it's on a Thursday. I want to say
Not sure, but we can look
May
that up.
16th.
So, real quick though, what were your thoughts about how the wait lists, the whole process for hotel rooms went?
For the most part, it was okay. It was like it normally is. But my issue is a link got tweeted out before emails went out. So, and also not only that, the sale started before they sent out the link. So some people just happened to stumble across the site before they got the link
Right.
and were able to get hotels. That's another kind of a small glitch. Like it's like that should not have been accessible until the emails
Right.
went out. But some people were able to go before we got the emails.
Right.
So it's just a little tweaks that
And it was
continue to be
well,
issues.
and
but-
not just that. I mean, what are we gonna do? Sit there and just stare at our email
Yeah,
all day long?
I
Just,
know.
I mean, there's got to be a better way.
Last year they went out at
about
8
that.
a.m., which is a kind of a normal time for
Yeah.
stuff to go out. But this time I think it went out at 9:53 is when the email went out.
It was. I remember it was sometime during the workday.
It was literally.
which
It wasn't like a rounded hour. It was just okay. Now
Yeah.
it's out at 9:53 in the morning, and I was like, well, I have work, and like literally I have to do something in 7 minutes. Like I can't.
It was kind of the way they did the
Yeah.
hotel sale as well. Like
Yeah.
they let us know a day and a half before that it was going to happen. And I know that perhaps those who were watching very closely could have figured out when
Yes.
it was going to happen.
But I do have advice to anybody who may be a little bit discouraged on how they fared in that. Yeah, right now, if you went on the site, it is pretty much only 5, 6, 7 miles away from the convention.
Still good
I
hotels, though.
recommend booking one of those hotels so you have a place. Last year, I looked out. I kept looking like probably 3 times a day. And I went on at 2 o'clock in the morning in June, and there was a hotel a mile away from the convention. Granted, I lost 2 days of deposit, but we ended up being a mile from the convention. So I took that hit because I was like, it's better. I don't want to have to. I can walk and not have to take a shuttle.
Right.
So-
And keep checking the page.
Yeah.
Keep checking the hotel page because people are letting their hotels go. If they don't,
Correct.
if people don't pay their deposit, the hotels will go away. Go away.
However,
they'll be released.
I did see a
They
tweet.
are gone forever.
I did see a tweet saying that all 4 nights are sold out. So like right now, the only options are going to be you have a hotel for 2 nights and you can't get them for all 4 at the moment.
Oh wow.
So that's another kind of bummer thing. But just
Yeah.
keep persistent. You might find them. They slip out. They're out the cracks sometimes. So yeah.
All right. So that is our San Diego Comic-Con news. We are moving into.
Speaking of, races to the death and short time limits and everything that scares us.
Tension.
Hey, Steve,
How-
could we go ahead and spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert?
I reckon, you mean this thing?
Yeah.
Oh,
Fancy.
Might as well just leave that on the whole
Yeah,
time.
from here on out, we're not going to just be talking spoilers, but I cannot promise that one will not sneak in every other sentence. So
Yes.
we are going to talk about
Every
Avengers Endgame. This is the game
50%
that
of the time.
domestically it is expected to sail past 750 million, possibly getting close to $1 billion domestically. There's a lot of records it's already broken.
Yeah.
It's going to be a big one. Jake, to get yourself and your friends ready for Endgame,
Yes.
what did you do?
So my wife had seen some of the MCU movies, not all of them, and I was like, and she said like last year was your favorite movie. It's like Infinity War was great. I don't think you would understand it though if you watched it not having seen. So I was like, okay, here's what we're gonna do. Starting February 5th, we did 10 weeks. Each week on a specified night, we did a double feature, and we did all the MCU movies.
Oh, you're doing double features each night?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
It was 5 weeks, 10 movies. Took a break for Captain Marvel because that came out, and then 5 weeks, 10 movies, and then it lined up with Endgame coming out.
Oh, that's perfect planning.
Yeah, and it wasn't chronological order or order of release. It was just the order that I felt like watching them in.
It was also mostly chronological, but like we watched both Guardians at the same time. Like,
that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it was one of my friends. Or wait a minute. Yeah, actually, it was Lex who said it was
Yeah.
really. The first one we did was not Iron Man. The first movie we watched was Captain America: The First Avenger.
Right.
And the
Which
way
makes
Endgame
sense.
ended, it was like that's the perfect movie to start watching.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
When you're watching all
It
these movies in a
is.
row.
Both of those
Definitely.
movies were the good first place to start for that.
What was the doubleheader that week?
That was Captain America: The First Avenger first, and then Iron Man.
Perfect.
And that's like the spine of everything.
Yeah.
Started and
Yeah.
ended.
Yeah, it really is the spine as you're watching everything.
Do you have
Yeah.
your list somewhere, Jake? Like, did you?
I would love to know the
It's
list.
on Facebook.
I can look it up for you guys. I have them all.
So that
Make a T-shirt.
Why? Okay, that is the perfect way to start this discussion.
I had a friend who did the 74-hour how many thing at the
Me
El
too.
Capitan.
Oh, wow.
My friend did
Seriously?
too.
Yeah, and
Jealous.
I think ours was more fun.
No, my friend went. I haven't talked to her since because I'm pretty sure she might still be sleeping.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
I haven't talked to her.
Hospital.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
on
was,
an IV drip.
God.
Or
that was
something
too
like that.
hardcore. Yeah, so.
But they had celebrities show up, like cast members, things
Yeah?
like that, all showed up.
we
yeah.
had celebrities
That's
show up.
awesome.
We had the Infinity Stones after
Yeah,
a
true.
while.
We did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I had stones. So you just bring them out and set them up as each one showed up. And
All right.
then, yeah.
So speaking of Infinity Stones, speaking of Cap, speaking of Iron Man, I'm going to start right over here on the couch, and I want you ladies, please tell us, what did you think of Endgame?
I loved it.
Yeah.
I cried
Same.
a lot.
So
Loved
much.
it.
So
So
many
much.
tears. Ugly crying too. Like not the pretty kind. It's like the type of crying.
Yeah, I was a little embarrassed because I had to get my tissue a lot, but then the people next to me were also crying, and I was like, "You want some?" we had a therapy session.
She means the
Right?
people on the other
Right.
side, not
not
me.
you.
Yeah.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
We'll say that
Sorry,
not
we
believe
need your
it.
Spider-Man
believe it.
costume.
Cheeseman?
I'm in therapy now because I'm depressed about certain people dying, and
Yep.
that my support group's helping me.
Yeah,
And,
we're here for
but-
you.
We're
Is
done.
there-
But
is
I
there a
loved
support
it.
group led by Cap?
Yes.
Let's go ahead and since we are talking spoilers, Derek,
Yeah.
who were the characters that met their end in this movie?
Well, this movie specifically.
Wow, you're
This one,
jumping to
in
that
this
as the
one.
first
Let's
thing.
go
Okay,
ahead.
so that's
Let's just
where
get
I
it out of the way because who's
Well-
it was the Buffalo Bills running back LaShawn McCoy. outrage social media by revealing the biggest death of the film on Twitter. And then he doubled down and did it on Instagram and did a video. He had no remorse. I mean, no
That's just
shade, I
wrong.
guess, but like people were outraged about this. People
People
got beaten up for revealing the
Yeah,
end. Did
people
you see
were
that?
punching
I
each
did hear about
other.
that, and I can't say that I feel sorry for
I
them.
honestly don't feel sorry for them.
I deleted Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram from my phone between Thursday morning to last night, so as to avoid any of this.
Valid.
Yeah.
That's a good way to approach. Instead of being like, please don't post spoilers, just don't go on social media if you don't
Yeah.
want
True.
to get spoiled.
Yeah.
Be an
Like,
adult.
honestly, just
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
YouTube
And you know what? Social
included,
media-
guys. YouTube included.
Especially
Yeah.
Twitter. Don't go on Twitter.
Uh,
It's meme central, especially for Game of
You know,
Thrones.
it's a good habit to just put social media away sometimes.
Yeah.
Anyway, I've realized it's unhealthy.
Well, not just that. Like I was going to read just a little bit of the early reviews.
Yeah.
Like we're
Yeah.
supposedly spoiler free, but the first thing, and this is a spoiler, the first thing that came out. The biggest film in the Marvel Universe comes out with a bang as they go jumping around time and kill off a main character or two. I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, great, there we go.
Oh my gosh.
So I mean, like that's your.
I mean,
opening
some of
line.
that, like, okay, we did expect that some main characters weren't going to make it.
right?
Yeah.
It's true, but we don't
Definitely.
necessarily want it confirmed in a review before.
And
we
for those
see
of
it.
you who don't know, this is the culmination of 22 films. I just have to say, it's over 10 years. It's nearly 11 years have led up to this moment. I personally believe no other film has ever, or I'm predicting will ever have this kind of a moment because everything's moving online, everything's going streaming. So as far as a theater experience, I think this may be the
That's
big
true.
enchilada.
That's true.
And this is also
yeah.
the first of its kind to do that.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
even if it was going to be repeated, this is the first of its.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody had
iteration.
ever like Kevin Feige. What a visionary! Back in 2000,
gosh,
what was it?
amazing.
2008 when Iron Man hit.
Yeah.
May 2008.
Yeah,
Oh
I saw it all by myself because I didn't know if it was going to be any good or not.
I think the closest thing, like this movie, the closest thing, if anything would have preceded it, like you have to imagine if Back to the Future Part 2 had seen Doc and Marty not only go back to 1955 Hill Valley, but also go to Dagobah
Yeah.
and go to the lost city of Tanis, and then also go to
Yeah. It's accurate.
the Metropolis from 1920. Something
And
like
then they
that.
killed Doc. That's
and
how,
if Doc died, yeah.
Yes.
That's the equivalent.
If you don't know, I do have a little bit of a beef that movies today we always have to kill our beloved characters.
Here's the thing.
In the olden days, they didn't do that. By the olden days, I mean the 80s.
Okay, it's true. However,
but they destroyed the DeLorean.
we were talking about this, but there's we talked
they
about
got a
some
nice
TV
train
shows.
to replace it,
Some of the
but
TV shows now
not
have
as
led
good.
into this kind of thing. Things like
Walking Dead.
Yeah, Walking Dead, and we're going to talk about Game of Thrones in a minute. Have given us these long-term sagas of stories where you've got characters and anyone can die. Characters aren't safe, which in a way is interesting for the audience because you've got that tension. You don't know who's going to make it, who's not.
Yeah.
Sometimes, specifically in The Walking Dead, they've gotten to the point where they kill off characters so much they do that more for shock value and less for the actual dramatic effect, and we end up not caring about the characters because they make it all about the shock and the gore and everything. And I thought personally. This movie did a whole lot better with not doing that.
It was
they were-
not for shock. It was
Right,
for
they were
story.
Yeah,
selective.
they were
Yeah.
meaningful.
Because
And they stayed dead.
I was concerned that we'd go into it and we'd lose a whole lot of major characters, and we didn't. We just
No.
lost a few, and it was a very meaningful
Yeah.
and sad moment that I felt like the writers had earned.
Well, because
Yeah.
after the last movie, if you just start killing then a whole bunch of other people again, you just did that. That was the climax
Yeah.
of the previous one,
Yeah.
so then it would
Yeah.
had no.
So who did we lose?
It would not have had the same value.
Who did we lose?
We
lost
lost
Black Widow.
Black Widow.
That one was to
That
me
was
the
so-
single most.
Yeah.
That was the second most shocking. That was
I
pretty
wasn't
shocking.
expecting that.
I wasn't either.
I wasn't.
I wasn't,
But
but
in
at
my
the same
mind,
time,
I wonder if she's even dead though. Like I still kind of
yes, she is.
In that
Worrying about-
timeline, she is
in
dead.
that timeline. But
Yeah,
I'd be
'cause-
so mad if they brought her back.
Yeah,
Like,
but
Well.
only because like it was like the Glenn dying and then
Yes.
coming back and then dying again. It's like stop messing with my
And the Black
emotions.
Widow movie is a prequel that that Marvel's planning, from
Yeah.
what we understand. I have a question though about the Soul Stone. Why don't they just climb down and get it? Why do you have to jump off the cliff? And kill
Well, that was the
yourself?
whole
it
thing.
doesn't reveal itself.
I don't think it.
It doesn't. It doesn't.
That was the whole cost. It's
Yeah.
so they know
it-
that
you
that was.
can't
It's
go
the
grab it.
sacrifice. It's not just
Yeah.
who gets to the
Yeah.
bottom
No.
first. It's not a race.
Like you can't access it. It
It's
doesn't
not
show
like,
up
it's not
until
like I got to the bottom of the cliff.
But couldn't like Doctor Strange split into two and then just throw one of his
I don't
other
think.
selves
Well, I
off,
mean, he
or-
does
I think that
love.
was that
That'd be
way.
a super
I mean, he does
narcissistic-
love
He
himself.
does love himself. So
He
I
does
guess
love
the Soul
himself.
Stone responds to your pain, responds to your soul.
that's
being
why they
ripped.
wake up in after they've like.
That being said, when Captain America at the end goes back to return all the Soul Stones, don't you think you felt a little gypped? You didn't get to see him confront the Red Skull.
That should be a mini movie
To
somewhere.
give the
That would be
yeah, it's like
awesome.
I got the
just think there
stone back.
wasn't
It's like,
time.
well,
Did he return the Soul Stone though?
Yeah.
Like,
that-
did he really
had to.
return all of them? We know he returned certain ones.
All
he
of
would
them.
he would have to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the
Yeah.
whole
Yeah, that
was the return all of them.
promise
That was
that
the
Mark
ancient. Yes,
Ruffalo.
Making sure.
Mark
All
Ruffalo
right.
promised the
All right,
ancient.
so Black Widow, who is the next one?
Just tell me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody said we haven't even talked about it yet.
Tony
Tony.
Stark.
Iron Man.
Yeah.
The last
I want
words,
it to
I
be
am
Oh my
Iron
gosh.
Man.
Yeah.
That was pretty
Well,
poetic.
Oh.
Not just Iron Man's death itself, Peter Parker.
Yeah.
Oh my
We
gosh.
had to go through the gut-wrenching goodbye from Infinity War with Peter Parker that
Yeah.
tore all of our heartstrings out every time I watch it.
Well, how great was
to
it
now
when...
seeing
Yeah,
it
I'll
the
let you finish.
opposite array. So it was Tony losing Peter Parker, and
Yeah.
in this one, it's Peter Parker losing his mentor.
Yeah.
And Tom Holland has this insane performance ability to just absolutely pull out your heartstrings. Like,
Yeah.
he's nailed
Yeah.
that part, and it made it even more
I
heart-wrenching.
loved their reunion when
Yes.
Tony reaches and hugs him.
Yeah.
Because it's a callback to Homecoming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When that moment when Peter Parker thinks Tony's hugging him and he like goes
Yeah.
for it and Tony's like, no, just get in the door here, son.
And then it's also because he's now actually a father.
Yeah.
So he's saying goodbye to his,
Yeah.
not real son, but he now knows what it's like to be a father and lose someone that's a son-like figure.
This movie did callbacks better than any movie
Yes.
I've ever seen in my life.
So can I read
So
you?
many amazing
the
callbacks.
fan service on that was amazing.
Can
Yeah.
I read
Yeah.
you what my friend? He wrote a review, non-spoiler review, and I asked if I could quote him tonight on it. On his end, on the end of it, and under "Should you see it," it just says. Marvel doesn't take your fanship for granted. Avengers Endgame will thrill you in all the right ways. It is staggering cinematic achievement. The hype is real. And I thought that was so well worded because I'm like, it did do fan service. And it did, it was not a movie, it was an experience.
It was. I agree.
An experience.
I mean, because the way that they were able to retreat.
Yeah.
Since we're spoiling, let's
Yeah.
go ahead and say.
Yeah, I love that they got to revisit all of their
yeah.
like what brought us to that point. It's
Yeah.
really cool.
They got to go to Hill Valley, 1955.
They went back. They jumped around through time to recollect all the time. The power.
Infinity
Stones.
Stones.
And they even reference
Brain
Back to the
fart,
Future in
big
it. There's a lot of time
Yeah, yeah.
travel
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
references
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
things in it, which was really one of my favorite things because I'm a Back to the Future fan, and having that whole thing was
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I love that they
definitely.
did all the self-reflexive, like, Terminator 2 and Back to the Future and Hot Tub
Time Machine.
Time Machine.
Yeah.
Like, they made all these references, like, yeah, we know what Time Machine's all about. And it always irks me when time travel enters into a plot because it's like, there's no perfect time travel movie. You could always find something wrong with it or the logic, but I love the way that this movie made an attempt to like kind of explain the rules and the whole thing with Hulk making the promise to the Ancient One and like coming back. There's a lot to cover there that we
And
didn't get to see.
Speaking of the Ancient
but-
One, I was so happy to see Tilda Swinton again.
Yeah.
I loved
right.
her character. I really love her character.
She was awesome.
Every time she speaks, it just drips kind of like
Mm-hmm.
wisdom. I just love hearing her voice when she's doing this. It's great.
It's like, Steven.
I
Steven
was-
gave it up to you.
Oh yeah, so
Yeah.
Steven.
so that was
He was to be the best of
It's
us.
the only way, and
yeah.
Gave it up.
the one.
I was so worried when all the plans started to go awry. I was like, oh no.
yeah.
Yeah.
This is the worst part of time travel. Like, you're not supposed to mess with the...
There were so many times in the movie when I was
Captain
like,
America.
what are they going to
Oh
do
my
now?
gosh, yeah.
That
That's
was
great.
It just
amazing.
and that's great writing too when you like can get the characters in a trap where the
Yeah.
audience has no idea how they're going to work themselves out of it. And like, okay, the very beginning when we saw Hawkeye with his family, like
That was amazing.
who here knew exactly what was going to happen? Like,
I kind of assumed.
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I didn't
yeah.
see a trailer
I
at
mean,
all.
I,
but
mean, I
kind
was
of
pretty
assumed,
certain
like,
what
yeah.
was going to happen, and we still had gaffes in the audience, so some people were still surprised. But
Yes.
apart from that moment, I like pretty much all the events in the movie. Like, I did not know what was coming. And it wasn't just unexpected things in the Ryan Johnson way, where they just surprise you to surprise you and don't earn it in any way, and it just ends up sucking. It was like it was an earned
Yes,
surprise,
true
more in
story.
the Aristotle poetics way, where it's it seems
This guy.
My husband, everyone.
where it's both
He knows Valerian.
both unexpected and inevitable.
I agree.
Along with that, my favorite scene in this movie is in that elevator.
Me too.
Oh my
Yes,
gosh.
I got so excited.
Yes.
I was
It's
like,
everyone.
Speaking of fan
So
service.
Yes.
good.
So everyone remembers from the Winter Soldier when Cap's in the elevator and then all the secret Hydra agents surround him to take him down. Here suddenly we have all the secret Hydra agents in that elevator with the staff. Cap comes in. It's all the same shots, and you know this when you've seen Winter Soldier
Yes.
not 7 weeks ago.
Yeah.
You're like, oh my gosh, he's going to take him out again. And then he pulls an Easter egg from the comics that was
Yes.
super
Yes.
controversial.
I wasn't
So
going to say it. I was
Yeah.
building up so he could
okay.
say it. Jim, I don't interrupt people.
And then and then waltzes out without throwing a punch and getting what he needed.
Yes.
And,
Yep.
and it was and my wife leaned over. She was like, "I like this. It's not as punchy as the other ones.
Yeah.
There's like actual story going on." And it was like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
So
They
good.
just
That was my favorite scene.
they played all their cards in like the best possible way. Like literally, they laid everything out and were like, "What is everything we need to get done in this movie?" And they did it.
Yeah.
And Luke, the final non-death, but the end of one of our main character's journey was.
Captain America, Steve Rogers,
Yeah.
which I totally predicted.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
And
So
I even
good.
told, like, I don't know if I talked about it on the show, but I'm like,
No.
because they made such a big deal that he didn't get that last dance, and as like a writer, you know
Yeah.
you don't waste dialogue, and that this
shouldn't.
bothered him for so long, and that he didn't get that dance with her. Like, I'm like, they need to give that moment to him, and
Oh,
I
yeah.
They
totally was
did.
not surprised and very happy to see that.
And if you notice, back when the older Agent Carter was on her deathbed and dying, she had pictures of kids on her nightstand, but there was no husband in that picture. Whose kids were those? I wonder. But anyways, let's hope they were Cap's.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we don't have to wonder anymore.
Well, now in the new timeline.
Yeah, in the new timeline. And real quick,
I have questions about that, but we won't talk about that.
okay, here's some questions. Why was there no Natasha funeral? Because, by the way, it ended with that beautiful scene of Cap meeting Agent Carter, but right before that was the funeral, which basically gathered every
Everybody
major
there, yeah.
character from the
Yeah.
entire 22 years.
Including the kid from Iron Man.
Three.
Except there was
Tyson
no
Hill.
Coulson, and that kind of upset
Well,
me.
he's-
I'm just saying.
He's kind of dead, kind of not. We don't
but
know.
I haven't
We're
caught
pretty
up
sure
on
he
Agents
really
of
is dead at
S.H.I.E.L.D.
this
So.
point.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is no longer, at this point, at the end of last season, had not connected to Infinity War.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Oh, that's always bugged me. But I think somebody had a
But
fight.
I was really upset
Well, it's 'cause
that
they hadn't
Agent
been renewed.
Coulson wasn't there.
Okay, here's some questions real quick, and then we're going to
Yeah.
jump into Game of Thrones.
Yes.
Is Thor now one of the Guardians?
Yes.
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 The best allusion to an older movie in the film. Thor? What was the illusion?
Big Lebowski.
The Big Lebowski. He is now the Thor Lebowski. I love
it's
that.
this amazing moment. You see him from behind. You're like, oh great, another Chris Hemsworth with his shirt off scene
Well, no,
for
'cause
no
that's
reason
what
at
I
all.
thought
And then
too.
it
Yeah,
just
it
threw
was.
you
There was a
through
great
it.
Chris
So
Hemsworth finish of his shirt off scene.
and then he turns around.
But it was
and he's-
also a very strong choice for them to show the other sides of being upset
Yeah.
and depressed and hating yourself, not just like the
I think his was
Yeah.
the best performance.
yeah.
Will
was pretty
Falcon
great,
have
yeah.
to give up his wings to become Captain America?
No,
I
because
don't think
eagles,
so.
because eagles have wings. Next.
If Captain America gave the Soul Stone back to Red Skull, shouldn't he also get a soul back in exchange?
I think so.
That makes sense to me.
That's what I
All
thought.
right. What
if a
about
universe were fair,
the kids? Everybody aged forward 5 years except for Peter Parker's friends. What happened?
Well, nobody
I
who.
wondered that. I was like, wait, they'd
Yeah.
have graduated. So
Okay, this is my theory.
Wait, half
Sorry,
of
I'm just
them
gonna say
were
something.
also-
Everyone who was in the snap didn't age, so
Yeah.
obviously a lot of those kids probably.
back.
So
We're
half
in
of
the
them
snap.
half of them are still in high school. The other half of that high school is
Yeah,
now
I
the
mean-
fifth graders who were.
Can you imagine being
during their
younger
snap.
than your younger sibling?
Yeah.
What happened to Gamora at the
Oh
end
my
of
gosh, they're gonna do a Flight of the Navigator thing then for the next Spider-Man.
oh, I
what
hope
I
so.
think.
Yes,
What if Jake Gyllenhaal's character like
was an elementary kid. Yes.
Sorry, go ahead.
We're pulling for because Kevin Feige said that Spider-Man is actually the end of this series of
Of
films.
Phase 3,
Yeah.
yeah.
I hope they bring back Iron Man.
He owes him. He risked his life and lost his life saving Peter, so maybe
Which
Peter
is
can do something to bring him back.
And last one,
Yeah.
where is Gamora at the end of the film?
She
The Genesis planet.
She's gone rogue.
She's one of those
know.
people
I mean,
who disappears.
Yeah.
I mean, I was
She's
gonna
just
say
gone.
Finley
Then
She
Avatar.
doesn't know.
the Guardians of the Galaxy is probably going to be like them finding a way to have the
Maybe.
new
Yeah.
Gamora.
Because I mean,
My
at the end
Star
of the
Trek
movie,
3,
you
search for
see
Spock.
him.
Guardians
you see
3,
Peter
search for
Quill
Gamora.
searching for
There you go.
Gamora.
Yeah.
So
And I'm guessing she because this 2014 Gamora doesn't know Peter Quill or any of them yet, so she's not going to just jump on board the ship right away. She probably has gone off somewhere.
Exactly.
It makes sense.
It's interesting though, with because Nebula was on the ship, and they had that moment.
That confuses me because
she should have died.
Shot her old
She shot her
Yeah.
old self. Shouldn't she have disappeared?
Yeah, Marty McFly.
No, because now that how'd they explain it? The future is now your past.
Diagrams.
Wherever you come from is your history, no matter where you travel in
but-
time.
Yeah.
Her past self died.
Yep.
Yeah, but her past self died in the present.
Yes.
This is the paradox.
Okay, so last thing, real quick. Speaking of somebody's past self who died in the future, we now see how they are setting up the Loki series. Loki is having a series on Disney
I
Plus
assumed
streaming.
that was
That's what
Because it
I'm
was
thinking.
described as Loki was jumping around the universe or jumping around time. So Loki was saved. So he's back. He's back. I'm hoping. All right. Any last thoughts on this film? We do have a few more minutes that are on that.
I do have one quick thought. Just like one other cool thing I really liked. But however you feel about Captain Marvel, one big complaint fans had is like she's so powerful, like her powers are so big and everything.
Yeah.
It makes her seem invulnerable.
Right.
And when you bring a character like that into a movie, it makes it really hard for the story to work. And they really cleverly had ways for her to just not be there all the time. And for her to just show up when she was needed, and also for her to not be this total Deus Ex Machina where she shows up and then everything's just fixed.
Yeah.
Because she still was struggling against Thanos, and even though fans were kind of expecting her to be the key for them to come in and win an Endgame, she wasn't. The real key was really, if you think about it, Ant-Man.
Scott.
The tiniest
Yeah.
of the
Yes.
heroes.
It was
Yay.
Scott.
The tiniest of
The
the
one
heroes.
person
Yeah.
who had no idea anything about these Infinity Stones. Can I just point
exactly.
that out?
But it's
Like,
really the
one-
rat. The
rat,
that
yes.
got
The
him
rat.
out of
That's
there
true.
is
Yeah.
really the
That's
hero.
Oh my
true.
gosh, the
That's
rat
right.
saved
The little
the
rat.
universe.
Just wait.
Universe.
There's probably going to be some secret thing about that rat that comes up later on in another
Oh,
movie.
he's going to get his own Disney Plus
Yeah.
show.
Yeah.
He is.
Everyone else
Jake
is.
Jerley pointed that out to me.
The
He's
rat
been on
saved
show.
the-
The rat is the one.
For
Yeah.
goodness
saved.
sakes, I just realized that just ruins it for me.
I do have one quick thing to say
Yes.
though. Like, check out
Indiana
Kevin
Jones
Smith's
would not be
review of this.
Yes.
It's not necessarily a review, but he kind of just digests.
listened to
and
that.
talks
I
about
listened
it.
to that.
But he got very emotional during parts, and I didn't really notice till I watched it. But at the end, like when he talks to John Favreau talks to the little girl, and she wants a cheeseburger. It's because that's what Tony wanted, like in the first film when he kind of came out. Like first thing he wanted when he got rescued, and he's like, "I want a cheeseburger right now." So it's showing
Cry
that.
now.
Yeah, she's.
And again, if you'd
she's
watched
just like
these
her dad.
over the last 3 months, you would have got that.
Yeah.
All right, go see the movie again and again and again. I'm going to go see an IMAX. I saw the comparison to the IMAX screen to the regular screen. There's a lot that was left out.
Yeah.
Well, people were taller and, anyways. Avengers Endgame is going to break a lot of records. Go see it and let us know
already
what you
did.
thought about it. All right, we're switching over into Game of Thrones here.
Two different Starks.
Yeah, and we won't
Different start.
Okay, it's one episode, so we can't spend as much time on this particular part of the episode. But
Especially because it's like in this, and they fought.
and they fought. It was
And
one-on
they fought.
battle.
It's Helm's
And
Deep.
there's fire.
But it
and
was
they fought,
one
and all the fire went out.
amazing battle.
It was pretty great.
Big fan. Who's the big fan of the show? I'm gonna ask Laura real quick. What did you think of this episode?
I loved it.
Yep.
I
because-
wish we had a reaction
Yes.
camera
Yeah.
because all of us were hanging out and jumping up from our chairs.
Yeah.
And, by the way,
Yeah.
Derek and I saw Endgame and then watched Game of Thrones back to
Yeah.
back. Like our
Same day?
hearts
A
were
lot
just
of people did that.
full.
A lot.
Yeah.
I
It
did
was-
that.
Yeah.
I did that.
It was a lot.
It was an
like,
emotionally exhausting day.
It's hard to go to sleep.
Yeah.
So who did
Yeah.
we lose in this episode? Who did we lose?
Theon?
Yep.
Most of the Dothraki.
Yeah.
Most of the
Yes.
talk.
Let me read
Jorah.
Liana?
Sir Jorah.
Liana?
Oh, Liana Mormont.
Lyanna Mormont. Oh.
That was awful.
Jorah.
That was the
but
girl,
also
the smaller
awesome.
girl.
But awesome, because she, the little girl,
Oh, that
killed
was
the
the-
giant.
Loved it. Yes.
So good. But when she came
Let's
back
hear
as
for
a
the
white,
small women in that. Well, the miniature.
oh, there's so
women.
much I want to get to. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Beric
Eric Dondarrion.
Yes.
Oh yeah, so he was the guy that kept
Yeah.
getting resurrected.
Oh,
Yes.
Okay.
And
the
then
resurrecting guy.
so his journey was over because
Yeah.
he was done.
Theon Greyjoy, he finally received
Redeemed himself.
redemption.
Yeah.
Well, and Bran said, "You're a good man."
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
I cried during
that was
I-
such a great moment.
I cried a lot. Yes.
He was killed defending Bran from the Night King.
Night King.
Correct.
Jorah,
Ser Jorah.
Ser
Ser Jorah.
Mormont.
who loved Dany
Dany.
so
Yeah.
much and fought and protected her to the very end.
Yes.
And Melisandre, she's gone.
Yeah. several centuries.
Walks off and just dissolves. But the most exciting person and the most shocking person who is gone, the Night
The
King.
Night King.
Yeah.
This was the most amazing. Laura and we were just talking before. Like, I was watching the show just tense and just watching. But when the Night King's about to kill Bran and everybody, you keep on seeing all these flashes all over.
like,
People
oh,
are about to die, and then all of a
they're
sudden,
doomed, they're doomed,
I'm
they're
just gonna
doomed.
say it. Badass Arya just jumps out.
Oh,
no
my
one
goodness.
knows she's there and just
Yeah.
takes him down.
Oh my God,
yes,
so
that
good.
was the
Yeah.
moment of all. That was one of the best moments ever.
Well, it was
on
awesome when
television.
she jumped out, and you're like, "Yay!" And then suddenly, like, yeah,
It's on the throat.
Yeah.
and then you're like, "Oh my gosh!"
She's
and
dead.
then drop, pick it up,
Boom.
and boom.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah,
so
I
satisfying.
thought it was her death
Surprised.
scene at
Yeah.
first.
Yeah, I was
think
like,
everybody
"They're
thought that."
doing this again,
This is the way
messing
you
with
do
us."
it, not the way you did it with Luke Skywalker. I'm just gonna say.
And we're back.
Yep.
Like,
And we're
Everybody's doing deaths better in Star Wars.
Everybody,
see-
everybody is. Yep.
And we're back.
it was a stressful episode to watch. I don't think I've ever been that stressed watching TV. Mm-hmm. Like,
yeah.
The longest
Oh my
filmed-
gosh, Katie and I were just like
Yeah,
during
I-
the like
Yeah.
when she was it the library and she
yeah,
was like creeping,
oh man, yeah. I
That was a-
recreating that Jurassic Park moment.
Yeah,
when
that's
she
what
was just
it
like,
was.
But also, do you know what else? Why I think another reason why it stressed me out? It also reminds me of the scenes in TV or movies where someone's hiding from a shooter. It also reminded me
yeah.
of that,
Oh,
and so
gosh.
it made it really tense too. Because I was like, I know this is a different
Yeah.
thing, but I was so stressed out watching that. I'm like, can someone do something? Because I literally can't handle this.
Speaking of that scene,
Yes.
that's because what's her the witch comes in,
Yes.
and she says to her, "What do we say to the god of death?"
not
today.
today.
Did that just like get you? Like, I knew
Yeah.
that I'd heard it before. It's like, where did I hear that? And who can explain where that came from?
It was oh, what is his name?
The man, the no one.
The water dancer from season 1, like episode 2.
Oh, right,
Yeah. Or
episode
Who
3.
trained? Who
Yeah.
trained?
Who trained
Arya?
Arya,
I
That's
rewatched
right.
it today, and now I can't remember his name because it was hard to. But that was like the first lesson
right,
she got
that's right.
in how
Not
to
today.
be a fighter and everything. Well, second lesson if you
Yeah,
count
yeah.
sticking with the pointy end.
Yeah.
But he says,
And I love that she
yeah.
brings that back to Sansa. She's like, I
Yes.
don't know how to use this.
because it's what John told Arya, and like you've got the siblings'
That's
advice.
so
Just
good.
but yeah, it was a callback to way back at the beginning, where you know the
Very
one
well
thing
done.
you say to the god of death is not
Yeah.
today.
Yeah.
and the witch. Where did the witch first see Arya?
In
Oh, it was in episode season 3, episode 9, I think.
3.
Wow.
And Melisandre, just because I looked
Yeah.
at this today,
Yeah.
I might be wrong with the numbers, but Melisandre was like, I see death in you, and you are going to, I see the eyes of, I see brown and green and blue eyes, and she brought that back.
Yes.
And she
Yeah.
emphasized blue eyes.
Yes.
Blue eyes.
You will close many eyes.
That was
Yeah,
brilliant.
you
Yeah.
will close
Brilliant.
many eyes.
All the
So
blue
good.
eyes. Wink, wink, nudge,
Yeah.
nudge.
yeah.
By the way, this
Question.
was.
Quick
Go ahead.
question.
Go ahead.
How much more expensive does this recent episode look compared to
Battle of
season
the
1,
Bastard?
episode 2?
Oh.
Season 1, episode 2, a lot.
Yeah.
Like how much
Yeah.
money
Well, they
is
put, like-
over this?
I think
I
some
think
of
we
those
put, like,
stats are online
They,
somewhere.
Yeah.
they did less episodes to spend more money
Yeah.
on each episode. So,
I read
I'm
that,
okay with that.
this episode took 11 months to complete.
Yeah.
Probably not. They were probably doing other things,
50,
but
55 days just for this episode.
Yeah,
this
you were
was the
telling me that.
longest filmed battle in cinematic
Mm-hmm.
history.
It's awesome.
So, also, it was the most tweeted TV episode with 7.8 million tweets.
Mm-hmm. Scripted television, but
Scripted
yeah.
television, yes.
Wow.
So, anything else that just jumped out?
Yeah, when the crypts started shaking,
Oh,
we
yeah.
all knew that was
We
going to
all
happen.
knew it was going to happen, yeah.
But I have to say, I did expect like Robb Stark
Yeah.
or
Ned.
a headless Ned, maybe.
We expected to see there to be some sort of like Sansa. I expected to see like Sansa have to kill one of her family members or something.
Yeah. Oh, I have a
I would
question.
think like that.
When
Sansa had that knife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so people die, and then the Whites die, and then the Night King can raise all of them back up again. Like
Yeah.
there's no point to kill them other than it's just like this delayed.
Yeah.
Then they come back
The
up.
more people you kill.
I didn't
yeah.
realize that the Whites could come back after being killed and then come back again.
Even
Yeah.
with the dragon glass?
Oh, I think at the Dragon Glass,
No,
they're gone for good,
with
right?
Dragonglass, I think that's,
Okay,
they're-
that makes me
yeah.
feel
Yes.
better.
Yeah, I don't think
But-
he brings
but,
the
like-
whites back, but he brings back all the.
All the
Yeah.
people they had killed. Then
Yeah,
it's like, now we have
everybody
more
who dies
people.
in the battle that wasn't
Yeah.
Okay.
resurrected before.
I guess that makes sense.
By the way,
Okay.
is Sansa and Tyrion going sweet on each
No.
other? Are they? It was
No,
okay,
but
so
that
even
was
if
a
they're
good.
not,
I
those
It
are-
was
did
a very
appreciate
sweet
that, yeah.
Yeah.
moment.
When he was like, "Oh, that's not good. If I was the best," like,
No, I think they have an appreciation for each other.
And it was
And a
just,
respect for each other.
Yeah.
And just a couple episodes ago, she had kind of been insulting him, basically,
Yeah.
saying,
Yeah.
"I used to think you were the smartest person,
yeah.
the cleverest man alive."
Well, she's threatened at that point.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Danny had just come and
Yeah.
yeah.
Quite a weekend, guys.
Yes.
Quite a weekend. And as we end our show, because we are right here at the end of our show, this is what we're going to do. We're going to go around the table. There is a question that's sneaking all over the internet. We have a big article about it on our site. Is this the grand finale? Is 2019 the grand finale? Because Endgame is ending the 22 movie giant arc of the Marvel Universe. We don't know what's coming next. We probably won't know until San Diego Comic-Con. Kevin Feige hopefully will make some announcements there. Game of Thrones is ending this year. Star Wars is ending the 9-episode epic arc that George Lucas originally envisioned.
42 years ago.
Okay, what was that? What's that mean?
Because it's the answer to the universe.
Life, the universe, and everything.
According to whom?
According to Douglas Adams. Well, according to
In the book
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. So
And the
according to-
supercomputer.
Yeah.
That was
But I mean, if you can point to like when geek culture took off and became gigantic. I mean, Star Wars has always kind of been a little bit, but it was still kind of nerdy to be a Star Wars geek. Star Trek Trekkies have always been seen as nerdy, no matter how much we loved it. But I kind of look at like 2008 when Iron Man came out as like the beginning of a
Like the hipster.
It's been like a
nerds.
decade,
That's-
11
Geek
years.
Chic. Geek Chic. And, yeah, post 2006.
Because I point back to like in 2008, I went to Comic-Con and I could buy tickets for the next day. 2009, it was done. It was the first overnight camp out that I remember. Twilight was there. And it was, but now,
Ladies.
all right,
Yeah.
and we will start with Derek. Are we plateauing in geek culture? Is this year the final year of us being the dominant culture?
Well, I
The
can't.
dominant pop culture. Boy, that sounded so terrible.
I know what you mean.
That's socioeconomic. I'm talking pop culture.
Thank you,
Okay.
Steve. Well, here's the thing. I can't give you a straight answer because I never can. But my nuanced answer is these franchises should be allowed to end. And they probably won't. Because Disney is the company that gave us Cinderella 3.
There was a Cinderella 3.
Oh, yeah, direct to video. Like, they don't let anything die.
If they can make
So,
money,
like-
it will be made.
Yeah, even though this is the end of like this line of Marvel stories and the Skywalker saga, they're going to keep making these as long as they're making money, which will be way too long, and it will not be good for it. And that's going to be very frustrating. However, if they can let these stories end, then new stories can come up. There are creative people out there. If you will let new things come to light, there will be new stuff.
Yep.
And we can trust that. And maybe if these things died down, and even if geek culture wasn't as big in popular culture, that's not such a bad thing either.
Yeah, we can actually get into Hall
There are
H.
always, exactly. There are always movements in society. Things go up and down. And if Comic-Con got less crowded, that wouldn't be that bad. Maybe the tickets would become more affordable. I don't know.
I know.
Maybe we could all get
Two
hotel
things real quick.
rooms.
Disney has said they are going, and Lucasfilm has said they're going to give a hiatus to Star Wars to let it cool a little bit. And I would argue on the pop side that I don't think Marvel would have exploded on the scene as much if Disney was not involved. That's just my
No,
that's
no.
my
I
opinion.
think what they did is great. I just think like
They
so
should
many
just
things
end
today,
while it's
and
I agree.
I think
ahead.
Disney especially has been guilty of this. They just don't know when to let things end.
You don't
know?
want Mickey Mouse literally doing a Night King with his hands and ringing up all his franchises
That's
again
true.
when they fall.
All right,
Yeah.
Katie.
Okay, I'm gonna make it quick,
Real quick.
but basically, I think it's gonna change. It's gonna be a change. Just be new stories, new content. I think with how successful both Game of Thrones and Endgame were, it's kind of like, okay, to the rest of the studios, your move. Like, what are you gonna bring that can maybe be the next thing?
It's also the end of an era for something
Yes,
you
also-
two love so much.
Well, also another thing is Big Bang Theory is also ending, and I think
They're
that is
taping
also
tomorrow.
responsible.
Oh, they're taping
really?
the
We're
finale?
taping
Yeah.
the finale tomorrow.
That's also responsible for
Oh my
why
gosh.
nerds have become in the forefront.
But what's another thing that you love that's ending this next year?
Supernatural.
Yes. After
Yeah.
15 years.
I mean, that's sci-fi, but yeah, it's same thing. It's still a big achievement and
Yep.
whatever. But
It's
so,
also the end of the Fox superhero
Yeah.
franchises. They're all ending with Dark Phoenix.
But yeah, so I think it's just gonna be like, what's the next story?
Yep. Jake, do you have any thoughts on this?
You look at other studios, like for Warner Brothers, their highest grossing movie was The Last Harry Potter. Disney, now the highest grossing movie is The Last Avengers. It's always the ending is always going to be because people want to be there to see the final thing. And even if these things do end in a cinematic form or a television form, the books aren't going anywhere.
Yeah.
The comic books have been
Comic
around
books,
since
80 years.
You know, if the movies are over, go crack a book, and
Yep.
you'll discover something new and wonderful.
Discover the comic books. That's such
Yeah.
a great way to say it. Laura, what do you think? Any closing thoughts here? What do you think?
I don't think geek culture's ever going to end. There's always going to be a geek or a nerd or someone that's going to love or someone that's going to make up something that someone else loves. It's I think it's the fascination with story. We just love it, and we're not going to let that die. And I think it's not going to end.
Emily, anything?
No, I agree with that, and I agree with the fact that with Disney, with Derek and everything, Disney Plus is coming out, and there's going to be so many cool stuff on there. I mean, I'm super excited for the Falcon and Winter Soldier show. I mean, Winter Soldier is my favorite, and so I'm very excited about that. And I don't think it's ever going to
And
end.
WandaVision, so we know that Vision is somehow going to be around.
Exactly.
So it's exciting.
And Loki, and
exciting.
there's just going to be so many new things.
Mandalorian, the new Star Wars series. I'm really
Yes.
looking for. There's a lot of good stuff.
There's
going to
be a good stuff,
Disney
and
Plus.
they're
Yep.
not going to let it go.
Cheeseman.
It's not over. I mean,
Not over.
this may be like the highest grossing. This may be a long time to beat, but in no sense is it over. We're probably not going to see like a reboot of Tony Stark as Iron Man for a long time. They may have other versions of Iron Man, but I think it just allows new things to come, more creativity, new creative angles of taking it. But maybe as we know exact characters to be, this may be the end, but there's new stories and new things. And
New
I don't think
iterations.
it's calming down or going away anytime soon.
Those 40 years ago when I saw Star Wars, it just started something in me, and I've been a geek since then. I just hope and pray that the next Star Wars, the next Marvel, the next something is just sitting underneath our noses, just waiting to explode. Because there's all these people, they just don't know what they're missing until, it's been exciting that we used to be hiding, we were the nerds and everything, and now everybody, we're sharing it with the world, and I don't think that's going to change. I do not think that's going to change. I think it's going to become just another genre that everybody will get excited about, maybe not at the top, but it doesn't need to be at the top to be good. We are in an era where there's so many choices, and I hope the next Star Wars is just out there, the next Marvel. Anyways, thank you so much for watching the Con Guy this week. Excuse me. This has been a big week, a big audience in the room. I hope you guys had a lot of fun. Make sure you watch Endgame. Go watch Game of Thrones if you haven't seen it. Sorry if we've spoiled it for you. There's a lot of videos on YouTube you can catch up, right, Jake?
That's good. If you want a recap of the first 7 seasons, I can point you to some really good ones.
All right, Jake, we'll put those up. Jake will communicate this to you. We have a lot of Comic-Con news coming up in the weeks ahead. Make sure you stay paying attention to our podcast as we go through the summer. It's going to be a busy summer. You can find me at Con Guy Jim.
I'm Derek, and you can find me at Con Guy Derek when I actually get on the evil thing known as social media. I'm Kirin Vose. Thank you.
Hi, I am Katie. I just wanted to say that I quoted my friend Jordan. You can check out his movie reviews on somedudereviewsmovies.blogspot.com. He writes great reviews, so if you want more of his Avengers review, check that out. And I'm Katie. You can find me on Instagram at Katie's Fairy Tale.
And I'm Jake. You can find me on Twitter at JT Hummus.
I'm Laura. You can find me on Instagram at LA Poet Photographer.
I'm Emily. You can find me on Instagram at mgibsongirl.
And I'm Cheeseman on the Couch. You can find me on Twitter at Cheese on the Couch. And I just want to thank our viewers and the people on the chat feed for just interacting and being part of the conversation. I know we don't get a lot of time to do different, mention all the people watching, but thank you, especially Media Shock and Channels, for watching and being so active on our chat feed.
Oh, fantastic. Media Shock's back. They've been longtime friends of the show. All right. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll be back soon. All right. Bye-bye.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network. The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Popcorn Talk Network or its owners or principals.